Hello everyone, this is Noj, and I am kind of happy, I guess I can say, about the fact that I am about to do another long-form video, something that I really don't have the luxury to do very much these days, but you know what? I have just enough time to do it, and I am going to be kind of interested to see how this one goes. So let's try this and see what we do. So, this is another Electronic Games in Greater Detail video. I was just about to say Electronic Game Purchase Collection again. Why do I keep doing that? I don't know, because as I said before at the end of the last video, I have absolutely no idea if I'm ever going to get back to buying stuff anymore. I got way too many games, I have way too many of them as it is, and if I were to buy something, it would probably be the boring stuff. Like, for example, I'd buy out all the series of the Pokemon Trainer Guesses and see if I could actually do a collection. And also, like, maybe get a silly sausage or other things. I don't know. But as for, like, anything, like, really, really special, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I have way too many of the games that I already consider worth having, a lot of which I didn't buy myself, a lot of which I actually got from packages, including this one, of course. So let's actually get to the subject of the video, and that being the Simon Stix. So, Simon Stix is weird. Now, when you usually think Simon, or at least when I think of Simon, I think of circular thing with 4 buttons along the edges that have different colors and play different tones or sounds. That's usually what a Simon looks like. This one doesn't work like that, and it doesn't even work in a way that really resembles even something like the Simon Air or the Simon Optics, which I think are closer to Simon roots but modernized. This game steps outside the realm of conventional Simon in pretty much every way possible. It's from 2004, and it's quite different. It was made around the time when Hasbro, I don't know if Dan actually had any involvement in this one or not, but I'll just say Hasbro in general had some pretty innovative ideas on some of the things that they could do with how to make games kind of stand out from each other and not be so boring. Along these same lines, we got things like the Torx, the Groove It, the New Jam Guitar, and I personally think the Simon Stix goes in the same area. It could just be me. I'm actually not sure if it was intended to be that way, but it feels like it. Definitely doesn't feel like anything normal. It's quite an oddball thing. Let me tell you part of why. So, the Simon Stix, first of all, it's not even one thing, it's 2 things. Oh yeah, also, Stix is spelled S-T-I-X, because of course it is. And not to confuse it with Stix spelled S-T-Y-X, which, if you know anything about Greek mythology, that's something quite different, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, it's 2 things, and they both take 3 AAAs each. There are 2 full-on drumstick-looking, well, I wouldn't say drumstick-looking, but just stick-looking things. They look sort of like sticks, but they are really, really bulky. They also are not at all, I wouldn't say not symmetrical, but like, I don't really know how to describe them. Okay, now that I think about it, so you know how the crossed signals, both of the, what I would call sticks, were kind of almost the same? And they sort of look alike, and they kind of have this look that makes you want to kind of like hold them in a specific way. Well, the Simon Stix don't really look much like those. The closest I can get to describing what a Simon Stix looks like is I can't even describe. On one end, which is the end that is closer to where the cable ties them together, that's another thing I'll get to in a minute, it is ridiculously thick. Like, really, really thick, and if you were to like kind of stand them up, you could actually get them to stick, I think. And the further upwards you go, or the further away from that point you go, they get thinner, but simultaneously more flat as well, until they end up in this very flat and kind of spacious looking area, which ends in these rubber things that you're supposed to hit against stuff. This is where the sensors go that actually tell the game that you've hit something. We'll get to that also pretty soon. And along the, like both sticks, there are a couple of things. First of all, let's go back to where the cable was. Let's talk about that cable, shall we? So the at the very base of the sticks, you will definitely see the cable, although the cable that the Simon Stix comes with by default is pretty kind of out of the way. It was made specifically for the unit, I believe. It is 2.5 by 2.5 millimeters, so both sticks take 2.5 millimeters. It's an audio cable, basically, so if you really did lose one of these, you could get another one. And this is important because without this, the two units cannot actually sync data between each other. You need these things to be plugged in at all times on both ends securely. That's another thing that's important. You need it to be as secure as possible, and the default cable that this comes with makes this really easy because you will know that it's kind of in there. You will barely feel any sort of protrusion coming out of the part where you can pull the cable out if you need, but you probably never will have to. And then very close to there is the battery compartment for both of them. They take 3 AAAs each, so 6 AAAs in total in the entire thing. And let me tell you right now, installing batteries in this thing was not really fun, but if you want to have a look at that, I suggest you look at the huge video I made with Acer about that. The battery compartments are on the part that you're supposed to just kind of keep towards the floor. They're kind of on the back side, whereas there are a group of 4 buttons on each stick, and these kind of look almost like triangles, but they're shaped in a diamond type shape on both sticks. So there's 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, forming a kind of diamond, and each one of these 8 buttons does something, although 6 of the 8 are up and down controls, which, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool that they have forwards and backwards buttons for these things, but it's also kind of unusual because I usually don't see too many things with this many up and down controls. Usually we just see one button that cycles through things and then wraps around. And then at the very end, there is also, before the rubber bit, which, by the way, if I hit these together, they sound like this. You can also kind of squeeze it. Right next to that, you'll feel this other weird thing that I can't really explain. They kind of just look like oval-shaped disc-like things across the sides of the stick on both front and back. The reason why this is important is because there's one move on the Simon Stix that requires you to basically bring both sticks next to each other and have one of these touch the other one. And when you do that, it creates some sort of connection between the two, and you don't necessarily need to have them touching, you just need to have them really close to each other. Someone back a long time ago, they used to say this is a magnetic connection. I very much doubt that. I don't think it is a magnet, because I tried putting magnets on it and nothing happens. It has to be some sort of electrical thing, but I'm not actually sure. And besides that, I don't really know what else I can say about the Simon Stix and what it looks like. There's bits of writing in different places, especially next to the buttons. Also, we haven't really talked about the differences between the left and right stick, now have we? Now, I've been told by Acer how to hold the thing, and for me this is the most comfortable way, but for others, I think Pixel said, for example, that he always holds them the other way around. So for me, the so-called... Actually, I need to get this straight, because I don't actually fully remember. I haven't played the Simon Stix in so long that I don't actually remember which one is the so-called master stick and which one is the secondary stick, because without one you can't really play the other. Let me just power it on. Actually, that's not going to give me enough of a clue, is it? I have a feeling that the left stick is the master stick, but I'm honestly not sure anymore. Basically, the reason why I'm saying this is because one of the sticks is responsible for running most of the game code, and then the other is responsible for basically keeping up and just playing sounds and receiving inputs of its own, then passing all the information back to the main stick for it to actually do most of the heavy lifting. And all that data back and forth, including the inputs and the messages sent by the main stick for the secondary stick and everything, all of that is done, at least I think so, through audio data, which is why you need this cable to be plugged in at all times, because that's exactly how the two communicate with each other. They use some sort of audio signaling, which, as you will eventually hear, I think, can become a bit weird at times. Now, the reason why I've gravitated towards holding these sticks this specific way, and the way I know that I'm holding them the correct way, for one, is that the cable is always facing the floor. Like, if the buttons are facing up, the cable is facing the floor, and if I were to exchange sticks and swap them around and try to hold them, I would see that the cable would be facing the floor, yes, but the buttons would never be facing the air fully normally. They would be kind of facing up in this really weird angle that would be really difficult to hold on to. Like, the way the stick works, it just kind of feels weird to hold on to if you're holding the wrong sticks in the wrong hands. I have a feeling that this game was specifically invented for right-handed people and no one else, which is kind of annoying, but I mean, I guess it works, because most people in the world are right-handed. Not that you cannot play it the other way, you probably could adapt to it just fine, it's just I've gotten used to it playing this way. Okay, let's see if I can remember before we actually begin and turn the thing on, what the controls are. So, the on button is on the right stick, as well as the select game button, and the level buttons, up and down, which are the bottom buttons. And then on the left stick is select music and select volume. There are 3 volume levels. So the ones above are music selection up and down, and the ones on the bottom are volume up and down. The selections work in a very familiar way if you think of something like the Groove It and the New Jam. And hey there, it powered off because I waited too long. They work in a very similar way where if you press something, it will first tell you what the current selection is before changing it. That's something you need to kind of keep in mind. If you wait a little bit too long, it will then act like you haven't pressed anything, and then when you press something that you recently pressed, it's going to give you the current selection again anyway. And to start any of the games, you have to actually do the whole cross motion that I talked about, where you cross the sticks together. The other inputs, by the way, are encoded in those rubber things that I talked about. You have to hit the sticks, either the left one or the right one, or both of them, against something. In this case, I'm using my legs, but you can literally hit anything as long as you're not destroying something in the process. I've had luck hitting these against my legs and it not having too many issues with it. When I started playing, because I didn't actually know how this thing worked, I actually hit them against my shoulders. That was a really bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. I guess I can go over the 3 games. Hello. Why is it not powering on? Hello? What in the... Huh? No way! Are you kidding? Let me just quickly take the cable out of both of them, plug it back in. There we go. Finally, I managed to put the cable into one of them. Now I need to put it into the other one. And if this doesn't fix it, I might have to reset it, which is really, really annoying. And I really don't want to have to do that because I actually wanted to show you something very specific. There, took me a long time. And it doesn't do anything still. So there must have been something going on in there that I don't know about because it doesn't want to turn on anymore. Maybe these batteries have somehow died in the process? Well, there's nothing I can do now. If only I knew which was the main stick and which one was the secondary stick. Well, let's take the batteries out of one of them, put them back in. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. I shouldn't have to, but I am doing it, unfortunately. So, going to take this out, and I'm going to put it back in. Nope. That doesn't seem to fix anything. That doesn't work. I don't think I have much of a choice. I'm going to try to take all 3 batteries out and put them back in. And if that doesn't work, I'll do that on the other stick, because, yeah. This one came used to Acer originally when he got it, and he did have some sort of issues with it back then, so I'm not saying it's supposed to be perfect, but like, it's supposed to work better than this. And I was going to show you something on it. I guess I'll just have to show you a recording of it, because I do have a recording. I am dumb. I'm putting it in the backwards way. Of course it's not going to work. Well, actually, doing it this way, it doesn't really want to work either. Let me try this way. That's better. Hey! There we go. Okay. Wait. What? Huh. Wait, I don't understand. It turned on, and then immediately Wait, I know what's happening. These batteries apparently are bad. Let me demonstrate. I'll put it in again. Oh wait, I can't even do that anymore. Wait, are they in? Are they not? Nope, fixed it. I thought it was a battery connection issue. Turns out it was me just not even putting the batteries in right. Okay, crisis averted. So, let's try this again and see if what I was going to show you still holds up. I hope it will. Let me demonstrate. So, let's go through the 3 modes. We have Simon, which is like most Simons, except not exactly, but you'll see. There is also Beat Simon. Beat Simon is not really like normal Simon. It's like, think of like the challenge wand type thing. Basically, you get random patterns of sequences, and you have to repeat each pattern to get 1 point, and they get slightly harder. And then there's Freestyle, which basically, and by the way, this is the only freestyle mode I have ever seen in a Simon, except maybe practice on the Star Wars Simon. It basically lets you do the moves in whatever order, in whatever way you want. Freestyle. And as you can hear, whenever I press the button, it keeps saying the same thing because I've waited too long. So, here's the thing. This game is the first Simon, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first Simon out there that actually does keep a longest score between every time it was turned on. So, if I do this, not that, why did it do that? Oh, I guess the score is dead. Oh well. There are no scores then. If you hold the game button, it's supposed to tell you your longest score, but looks like the longest score is saved in that other stick. Lesson learned. I was going to say I had a longest of 31 on this. What was that? Was it supposed to disconnect there? Let's test this out by playing freestyle, and then I can show you the moves. In normal Simon mode, at least, because there's actually multiple sets of sounds. Simon, beat, Simon, freestyle. So, the music track you choose actually changes specific things. So, these are the Beat Simon tracks. And then these are the normal Simon tracks. And if it says Simon, that means you're about to play the game without any music whatsoever. I'm going to do that, So to start the game, I'm going to cross the two sticks together.
Go freestyle!
And I don't know if you can tell through the recording because it's in mono, but it just said go on the right and the name of the game on the left. And the music is always coming from the right stick, and some actions come from the right, some from the left, based on what you're supposed to do. So for example, if I hit the left stick, I have to
Go freestyle!
I have to start again because it waited too long. That's how much time it takes. Oh, I'm wrong. So the right stick is the master stick after all. That was the one saving the scores. I should have tried to take the batteries out of the other one. So the low pitch tone is the right stick, and if I hit that, it makes that noise, and if I hit the left stick, it takes a bit longer because it's actually sending a signal to the master stick going, hey, I received an input, and the other stick has to go, okay, play your sound, which takes time.
Go freestyle!
I have to keep restarting it because there's more than those moves. There's of course 4 per Simon Customs. So there's those 2, but if you hit both of them at the same time, it goes da-din. Now, the more I do this, the more you'll see it's not doing it. It's actually very good at tracking my movements, by the way. You cannot tell, but basically the low-pitched din is coming from the right, and the high-pitched din is coming from the left. So it's actually right-left. And there's multiple variations of noises in the Beat Simon mode that do the same thing. Let me demonstrate.
Simon!
So if I go to this, for example, actually no, let's do this one.
Go freestyle!
Now the music is playing, and I can hit the sticks. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot. In Simon mode, you will also be asked to cross the sticks together at specific points, which, in this specific sense, will make this noise. I'm just going to wait for it to time out. There. Let me just go back into
Simon!
normal, no music mode.
Go freestyle!
If I do the cross here, it makes this noise. That's coming from the right stick. So the 4 tones in normal Simon mode are those 4. Okay, let's actually play some Simon, but I'm not going to do that without any music because the game works in a very odd way, where the timers get ridiculously too fast if you don't have any music on. So
Freestyle! Simon!
let's play Simon normally, but with music in the background. By the way, normal Simon mode only has those 4 tone noises. Beat Simon mode has multiple different sets of other noises you can play with that correspond to the music tracks,
Simon!
but normal Simon mode just has the 1. Now let's select a level.
Level 1!
You can go between level 1, 2, 3, and 4. It uses the same normal structure as all the other classic Simons up to this point. As far as I remember, this is actually the last game ever to use this level structure. So level 1 is 8, level 2 is 14, level 3 is 22, and level 4 is 31.
Simon! Level 4! Last!
So, let's see if I can get 31. I'm going to try a couple times, because I actually have done it before. And on this game, it takes a while, but it's nowhere near hard.
Go, Simon.
As you'll see, it takes a while. So, some of the sounds, as you can hear, are coming from the other stick. There, you just heard it go da-din, like kind of slowly. Sometimes the left stick has issues responding at the right time. Oh, I was just about to do that. I wasn't even trying to do the sequence. This is the only game, except for maybe the Cosmic Keep Away, that has two.
Game
What?
over. Last.
Oh no, it does this.
Longest. Score 8.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that this is the only game besides maybe the Cosmic Keep Away that has multiple speakers that actually convey different kinds of information to the player. In this case, the two sticks. Well, the air snares sort of does it too, I guess, since there's two sticks.
Simon.
Now, since I actually have a score, I can hold the button and...
Last. Longest. Score 8.
So there's that. Let's try that again, because that was terrible.
Level 4.
I don't know why I even failed.
Go, Simon.
Oh, it starts with a... As you can hear, the further we go, the longer it takes for the timer to actually get anywhere. Sometimes it kind of pauses for a split second. As you can hear, this Simon is quite slow, almost one of the slowest Simons there is. But I personally think it's not very, it's not to its detriment, because in this case it actually makes a bit more sense why they did it this way. I just need to remember the pattern, that's all. Oh. I'm going to attempt to cross the sticks as silently as I possibly can, because I think the reason why I died last time is because one of the sticks picked up an impact from me hitting the two sticks together a bit harder than I should have. This is the part where you're just going to be stuck listening to a loop of the music, because I'm kind of fast, so it's just waiting for you to finish the entire thing, but it doesn't actually know when you've finished it. I think that's how it works. See, like that, I took a lot more time to do it this time, and I barely had enough time. It was just about to time me out. This pattern is a lot more difficult to remember than some of the other ones I've gotten. I'm having trouble remembering it. Now, why it reset the music completely there, I have no idea. Sometimes it just does that. See, like that. Why exactly did it reset there when I finished it? I don't know. That was a lot faster than I did last time. So now we're just gonna wait and go. As you can hear, I've only had one cross event in the entire thing, which speaks to the slight pattern, not pattern, but like sort of pattern-based nature of this thing. Oh, I completed it. I was looking for a different command. I was like hesitating. Wait, was there a different command there I was supposed to do? There wasn't. No!
Game over.
Wrong one.
Last.
Damn it.
Longest. Score 20.
20. This game has some really odd number samples. 20 is far from bad, but it's also not very good. So let me try one final time.
Level 4.
See if I can get above 20, because I've gotten 31 once. I can do it, just takes some time. And no, I'm not going to be using no music, because no music is just going to make the timers way faster than they should be.
Go, Simon.
Why is it stopping there? I don't know. Now we just keep waiting. I was kind of panicking there. I was trying to figure out where the two sensors were so I could cross them together. That was a lot faster, as you can tell, because now we're waiting. I think that's it. It's kind of disconcerting just waiting there, doing nothing, hoping you did it right. What?
Game over. Last.
I hit the wrong one, didn't I? I'm not very good at this today, I guess.
Score 15.
15. Oh well. 20 is, I guess, is as far as I'm gonna get for now. I'll try to get that 31 back one day, but I'm not gonna bore you guys too much more with this, because I know this can end up being boring. And you know what's more boring? I personally think... Oh, shut up. I personally think Beat Simon can be a little bit more boring than this.
Simon. Beat Simon.
Here's the thing about Beat Simon, though. The levels work a lot differently. I did some testing on this,
Level 1.
and I figured out a couple things. For example, I figured out that level 1... No, I'm not going to talk about levels, I don't actually know much about those.
Level 1.
All I know is that the further you go in each level, the harder the sequences get. There's going to be more and more in each sequence. And eventually it's going to actually slow down and go back to a lower level before speeding back up again, if you get far enough.
Level 1.
I'm just doing that so that it doesn't turn off on me. Every round of Beat Simon can go maximally up to 250 sequences, which is really long. I actually managed that after 3 or 4 attempts of getting over 200, only to have the game kill me for some really dumb reason.
Beat Simon. Level 1. Last. Score 250. Longest. Score 250.
And it turned off anyway. Also, it's really disconcerting as well how the power on and off noises come from the stick that I'm not operating.
Simon.
It's really weird.
Beat Simon. Level 1.
So, let's make this slightly more interesting. I'm going to play on level 2.
Level 1. Level 2.
And everything can go up to 250, it's just the harder the sequences get on each level. I tried level 4, it's pretty much impossible. I'm going to show you that in a bit. First, this is my favorite music track. There's 4 different ones you can select from, and they will actually change the different kinds of noises you get for each action. This one, to me, is the easiest one to remember, not to mention the fact that when you have to do both sticks, it will be really easy for me to tell you have to do that because it's a very different sound, and both sticks play some sort of sound instead of just one. Let's go.
Go, Beat Simon. Go. Sweet.
So basically, you just have to repeat the sequences by doing what the game tells you to, and then crossing the 2 sticks at the end of each pattern. Now, you don't have to be in rhythm,
You got it.
like that.
Go. Good.
Again, the high-pitched is the left stick, and low-pitched is the right stick, and you can hear the both sticks sound is quite different. And that thing at the end is the cross. You cannot have a cross stick action in the middle of a sequence in Beat Simon. I chose level 2 because I know that eventually, if you go far enough, it will get harder a little bit sooner than it does on level 1. I'm not going to play through the entire thing, but I do want to show you that it gets harder. And by the way, before anyone asks, I don't have any plans to make a maximum score on this because of obvious reasons. 2 completely different sticks with different speakers. And see, now it's giving me 4 commands plus a cross at the end. I classify the Simon Stix as not a hard game unless you make it hard. It has something for everyone. If you do decide to make it hard for yourself, it can be brutal. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not always giving you commands of 4. Sometimes it says it gives you commands of 3 still. Sequences. Sorry. I'm going to try to get a little bit further so I can show you that it gets even harder than this. See, that was just 3. Basically, the way this works is at set points, set amounts of points, it levels up, and it just allows the game to give you different kinds of commands than before. And depending on what level you're playing, 1, 2, 3, or 4, it changes when that happens and exactly what kind of commands it can give you at what times. Now, I don't know if you can tell a difference, but listen very closely. Does it sound like it's slightly faster to you? Well, you're not the only one who thinks that. It just sped up.
Game over. Longest score 26.
So it looks like it does that at 25 or 24 or something. Unfortunately, I messed up. I didn't mean to. What I was going to say is that at specific points, the game will actually speed up slightly. And when it does that, you will know that you have more, like, different kinds of sequences to do. So you get harder sequences. In this case, I got a sequence of 5 plus a cross command. And if I were to play further, it would actually get even harder than that, I believe. On level 1, it can only give you commands of 3 or 4 or 5, no more than that. On level 2, I think it can go higher, but I just haven't gotten far enough. Let me show you what level 4 is like, because level 4 is absolutely freaking brutal. Unfortunately, I messed up a little bit too soon, so I can't really show you on level 2, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Also, if I hold the button now, it does this.
Last score 26. Longest score 26.
So it keeps a last and a longest, which, again, is a very Simon-esque thing to do.
Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4.
Okay, Wish me luck.
Go, beat Simon.
It starts off the same as always, but it gets much harder, much quicker. To the point where I find it really difficult. Yep, you heard that right. It's already giving me commands of 5, and I haven't even gotten to like 10 yet. And this is only the beginning. I think another thing that kind of confuses me is the very non-rhythmic nature of how the commands are laid out. They are supposed to be rhythmic, but because the left stick is kind of, you know, kind of delayed because of how it has to talk to the other stick, it's never fully rhythmic, and it just kind of confuses me. Yep, you heard that right. It's already sped up. And by the way, don't worry if you hear, like, the hit sounds are, you know, kind of loud and sharp. I personally think this is exactly what the game was meant for, so, like, if you think that I'm destroying the game by hitting it hard, I don't think I am. I think that's the point. Now, if you do this for long enough, and by the way, take note as well that I'm always receiving commands or sequences of 5. Never any less. It's always 5, which makes it even harder. If I get far enough, you'll see that it gets much, much harder. I'm not even trying to be rhythmic. My goal is to get through this as fast as I possibly can. Yep. There it is. It's giving me commands of 7 now. And it's really fast. And I messed up immediately.
25.
Oh, they speed up at 24 instead of 25 like I thought. Yeah, my brain isn't working very well right now. Can you tell? A sequence of 7 is already enough to confuse me, especially considering that they go in really weird patterns. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cross. Like, that's not even that much of a weird pattern. There are weirder ones out there, yeah, but that was already enough, I guess, to confuse me. Yeah, so that's Beat Simon, and it gets even harder than that. I've gotten past that. If you get far enough, it'll give you sequences of 9, and I think maybe even higher. I'm not sure. I don't think I'll ever get far enough for me to know. So, Beat Simon is difficult, but on level 4 it's difficult. On level 1 and 2, I don't think it's that hard. It just takes a much longer time to get up somewhere, and when you do get up there, it just kind of feels like you're spending a lot of time just completing the same stuff over and over. Although, I do wonder what if level 2 is going to end up with the sequences of 7 at the end, and that's what's going to make it difficult. I might try that one day. Like, actually get as far as I possibly can on level 2, 3, probably not 4. Let me just quickly go through the other Beat Simon tracks on freestyle mode.
Level 1. Beat Simon freestyle.
This one.
Go freestyle.
That's left, and that's right. This is left. And this is both. That's really confusing because it's making a noise out of both of them. Just one of them, sorry, just the left. And then this is the cross sound. You can also change music in the middle of freestyle, which is kind of cool. Yeah, we've heard this before. And then this one. That's the right. This is left. Sounds really low quality. And then both. They do make a noise, like both of them. And the cross. You know, I do wonder if these actually have different patterns. I kind of doubt it. I think they all have the same ones. And then this one. That's the right. This is the left. And this is both. And the middle, the cross. They all make cymbal noises. Kind of low quality cymbal noises, but... So Simon only has 3 music tracks, and Beat Simon has 4. So yeah, out of all 4 of them, my favorite is number 2, personally. Another thing about this game is that no matter what game you're playing and what you're doing at literally any time, like for example, if I do this, I can just press the button. It doesn't matter where you are. Could be doing literally anything. You can press the on and off button and it will immediately shut the game off. And of course, the other forceful way to do that would be to disconnect the audio cable from one, but that is something that usually should never happen. I really don't know why I had so much trouble putting the cable back in, but I'm glad it works. Now, as for my performance, having actually played this thing, I'm not really good at this today, it looks like. Let's just do one more final round of Simon. see if I can get some. Because Beat Simon, I think I demonstrated far enough. Like, I know I didn't get very far to, like, the sequences of 7 and stuff, but
Simon.
I think you can believe me, and you can sort of see for yourself what it's like. Let's do this again, though.
Level 4.
Because I really want to try to get at least higher than 20.
Go, Simon.
Nice. Symmetrical. I like it. Now we have to wait. Oh, wow. I personally think the Simon mode in this game, though it doesn't have what I'd call a pattern, it definitely has move logic. Like, for example, you cannot have the same move twice, ever, and there's, like, very set rules as to, like, when it gives you a combo of both sticks. It's not very set, but it definitely has some rules to it. The only thing that is not really set in stone much is the cross move. That can happen anywhere. I don't know why it's stopped there for some reason. Sometimes just does that. This is a much easier pattern than I got before. This is absolutely amazing. This pattern is great. Watch, I'm gonna jinx it. It's gonna become difficult. I personally think the start to a pattern is always the key to success. Like, if you can remember the beginning, you'll probably be set. Up. I'm not sure exactly when the lights happen on this one. I'm guessing both sticks have lights. I don't know when they flash and when they exist. Oh, it's still waiting. This pattern is absolutely amazing. I just hope I don't mess it up. Oh. Good. Let's see how much further I can go. Now we keep waiting. There. Oh. Just reset again. I can't even keep track of how far we've been, but I think I'm gonna get a high score at least. I feel very confident in being able to actually get quite far in this. We'll see. Finally, a deviation. No!
Game over.
Wrong one!
Last.
Right as soon as I say I feel confident, I forget a specific part of the pattern. Oh well. Yeah, it was the other way around, of course it was.
Longest score 23.
23. Not bad. At least I beat level 3, basically, because level 3 is up to 22. 23 is not bad by any stretch. I just really think I could have gotten better if I paid more attention. Another thing I was unable to demonstrate to you, which is quite difficult to get to happen, but I'll just say this, and please take my word for it. The Simon Stix can randomly disrupt your game whenever it feels like it, at whatever point it wants, because of the fact that the game is using audio signals to communicate between both sticks at every single time you do something. Sometimes, especially if you hit the sticks in a specific way, I think, or it might just be completely based on chance, the game will randomly misrepresent one of your inputs, and it's going to do something very random. Like, for example, I've gotten one of my sticks, and usually this is from the master stick sending audio to the secondary stick, or sending signals to the secondary stick. I've gotten mine to, for example, I hit the sticks and it just randomly says Simon in the middle of the game. Now that's not a problem. What is a problem is if I have also had it randomly just stop responding completely. I believe it also said something. I think it said level 4 or something. I don't know what it said, but I heard it say something, and then the sticks just, that specific stick would do nothing because it thought that the game was in a different state at the time, and the master stick didn't give it any communication back, so they were not in sync whatsoever by that point, and the only way to fix it was to get the master stick to finally end the game, and that caused everything to go back to normal. So I had to basically do the wrong command, is what I'm saying, to really get the thing to do anything, to like continue, but that also cost me the game, so I couldn't play it anymore. I've also had the game randomly decide to just cut off, sometimes not even play the power off sound whatsoever, in the middle of a game, and these things are not very rare. Like, I played the Simon Stix for a combined total of only a few hours since that time when I got it from Acer's package, and yet I've had mine, or these sticks, do that already. I don't know if it's just a my unit thing. I very much doubt it is, because I've heard that the Simon Stix just in general is a bit funky in terms of its playability, like it just randomly glitches out on you. I've also been told that if you put low batteries in one of the two sticks, it can get even weirder. So if you play the game for a long enough time and the batteries get low, other things might happen, which I'm kind of interested to see how that is going to go. If I play the game for long enough, we might find out. I don't think there's an easy way to get this thing to glitch because of how it works, but I do want to know, like, if the batteries get low, can I get it to do something crazy? I'm not sure, and it's probably going to take a really long time, but I think I demonstrated enough about what I wanted about the Simon Stix. I do feel kind of bad for having to open up the battery compartment and reinstall the batteries, thereby losing my high scores. I personally think if I were to have taken the batteries out of the other stick, which I later found out would have been the secondary stick instead of the main stick, which is the one I took the batteries out of. I would have taken the batteries out of the secondary stick. I personally don't think anything would have changed. I think the main stick was in some sort of weird lockup, and I don't know how that happened. I've never seen it happen, but to be honest, even if I would have taken the batteries out of the secondary stick, I think the main stick still wouldn't have done anything. Personally, that's what I think. So, lesser of two evils, I guess. I lost my score, but the game works. So that 250 is in the recording. I did get it on camera. Well, not the actual me having played it, it's the score, but anyway, and the 31 on Simon as well. One last thing, these two do have test modes. They have a sound test. Each one independently of its own has a sound test, I believe, and they don't even need to be connected. And because of the fact that specific sounds reside on specific sticks, they have to be connected very, specifically for everything to work out correctly. So for example, the music and some of the comments are on the main stick, but all of the number samples and the modes and some of the other sounds are on the left stick. And there's probably a few other things I'm missing. I think even last and longest, which by the way, I think is la, longa, and st is its own thing. A little bit like how I personally think the Simon Trickster Pocket has one of those, it just doesn't tell you in the TM, but that's besides the point. I'm not going to get into that too much. Oh yeah, never mind, I was wrong. I just now realized the Simon Trickster does give you last and longest, and it saves both of them. The Simon Stix does it too, it's just I kind of forgot. That just kind of reminds me, the Simon Trickster doesn't have any levels at all. It just has the modes. Just kind of dawned on me that the Simon Stix is the last official one. Well, I talked about this before, but just to have levels at all. I mean, the modern definition of levels got reintroduced on the Simon Swipe, but that type of level is different. On classic mode, any, Simon with a classic Simon mode will usually go for a ridiculously long time. Without stopping whatsoever on any kind of level. Whereas this thing, I'm guessing the Simon Stix was made with a processor that clearly could have counted above 31, but they just chose to keep Simon still at 31 at most. I'm not sure if that was a design decision or what, but it's just kind of interesting to me to think about the fact that the Simon Stix on Beat Simon can go to 250 sequences, but in normal Simon mode, it still is locked to maximum 31 sequences. Just like all the classic Simons from the 80s and 90s were. Anyway, I'm pretty much done. I might have a little bit more fun with trying to get 31 later on Simon mode again and trying to see how far I can get on Beat Simon after that loss of my high scores, but I don't think I'm going to do that anymore today. So with that, I'm done. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I personally have. It was really fun. The Simon Stix is one of those games that it's definitely quite odd, but I personally like it for being odd. It's just one of those very unique 2000s things that really couldn't have existed at a different time. It really is the sign of the times. This game and the Groove It in particular, I think, embody the early 2000s the most. Well, there's probably a few other games that are like that, but the Simon Stix and the Groove It definitely go together in that respect. I had come to think of the fact that I have had the Groove It for a really long time, and yet I never play mine. It's one of those games that I have, but I find really, really, really boring, because I already know how to play the game, and I know how to do all the moves, and it just doesn't get fast enough for me to be challenged. Whereas this is on a different level, so to speak. Beat Simon on level 3 and 4 is probably so difficult that I will never ever get any further than I already have on it. Then again, I haven't tried level 3, I've only tried 1, 2, and 4, so we'll see. Anyway, that was that. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm not sure what video is going to be coming out for this channel next, but whenever that happens, until then, I guess I'll see you guys later.